The American dream is an ideal that has been pushed to Americans for decades. Anything is achievable as long as you work hard for it. You can have a nice family with 2.5 kids, a nice house with a garage and a big backyard for your 2.5 kids to play with. I never wanted a typical life. 2.5 kids, a house with a garage, and a long driveway, it doesn't really interest me. If I had it my way, I'd be traveling around the world in a makeshift van. Or, I would be this goose. Look at it. Not a care in the world. Walking around, eating grass. It even almost gets hit by this car. It doesn't know any better. It's a goose. Instead, I'm stuck here, pondering over the American dream, and if it's real or not. While the American dream is a good philosophy to live by, I disagree with it. The idea that anything is achievable no matter how hard you work is flawed to its core. Despite that, it's still reiterated by the media, politicians, and teachers to this day. I decided to find out what the ordinary American thought about the American dream.
I'll ask you the same question. When do you think that you recognize the American dream? Because I bet it might be the same thing.
I don't know.
You, you know why you don't know?
Because it never was.
No, because you've been exposed to what the American dream is supposed to be from the time that you had inception, where you understood things, what the American dream was supposed to be.
What
When
is
you
it
can
supposed
understand,
to be?
well, when you understand a commercial, they're always showing you different versions of the American dream. So in commercials, what's the version of American dream? What is the American dream?
Prosper, just I don't know.
Money, yeah,
Money, yeah.
property. You have own your own home. You have how many kids do you have?
Like two, three.
Two, 3 kids, 2.5. You know,
Yeah.
2.5 kids. You drive a nice car and everything like that, and as long as you follow the rules, as long as you work hard, and are true to yourself, then you will be able to take part of the American dream.
Just saying American dream, it feels all wrong or something, just maybe too privileged about it. During the late 19th century, early 20th century, when we had waves of immigrants from Europe and we had the Statue of Liberty, I feel like that was a positive American dream idea. And, even at the base of the Statue of Liberty, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shores. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Nowadays, they want to put immigrants and their children in cages. They don't care so much about the homeless, the tempest-tossed. In fact, if any immigrants we want nowadays, they have to be like doctors and things. Like anybody, otherwise it reminds me of the Lou Reed song from the Dirty Boulevard, where he subverts the Statue of Liberty inscription. He says, "Give me your hungry, your tired, your poor, let's piss on them." That's what the Statue of Bigotry says. And that's kind of how I think of it, this American dream now, because people really aren't living up to the Statue of Liberty's ideals.
I suppose it probably meant to me that if I work hard, I can succeed. Something along those lines, yeah.
Okay.
And, I mean, I guess the thing that kind of occurs to me in thinking about the American dream is that I wonder what it is we're trying to achieve. I think for many people, they think that the American dream is about kind of upward mobility, or, you can get rich, or you can make a lot of money somehow. And I'm not sure I ever thought of it that way. I kind of thought of it as, I should be able to achieve whatever I'm capable of achieving, Mm-hmm. So I should be able to go to school, and I should be able to develop myself and become good at what I can be good at. That's kind of the way I think I've always thought of it.
My father not only was he a veterinarian in Needham, he was the town veterinarian, so he was on the board of the town board or whatever, board of directors or board of whatever, I don't know, board something. And he was well known, and everybody knew that he drove a huge, like, 460 Mercedes, and silver. and he would get stopped every so often. Oh, Dr. Curry, oh, it's fine. And sometimes they'd stop him just because they could. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you've achieved this amount. You have your own practice, and it's prosperous, and everybody knows you. You are doing community service with the board. You are a member of the governing body, but you still get stopped by the police for no reason. My brother, when he came back from college, he was harassed by people in, what is it called? Quincy Market, Faneuil Hall Quincy Market, which is like this big tourist thing, because a woman had followed him and his girlfriend around, asking them if they wanted their palms read. To be, I guess, generous, he said yes, and so when she read their palms, he gave her 20, and she's giving him change back. And that's when the police came over and said, oh, there's something going on here, because why is she giving you all this money? Like, and the woman was like, it's change from the, you know, and he was in front of his girlfriend. He was slammed against the wall and patted down. You know, we were supposed to be living the American dream. My dad belonged to the golf course. You know, he had all this thing. We were supposed to be living the American dream. Why is this still happening?
The earliest dream I can remember was that I wanted to be a professional basketball player. And then I think I figured out pretty early on that that was not going to happen. So then my next dream was that I wanted to be a Division I men's basketball coach. And then I realized that dream wasn't going to happen. So, and more so just because, like, I think the profession that I picked really kept me with sports, but has put me in a place where I can't do both. Like, I can't coach and be an athletic trainer at the same time. Mm-hmm. So it really pulled me away from that opportunity of getting into coaching. And like, I'm not mad about it. It's funny when you think about, like, well, what else could I have done, or what else would I have done if I didn't do athletic training? And I think I would have pursued something in coaching for real, like interned or did something like that.
Do you think part of the reason is because it's a little harder to get in the field as a woman?
Oh, 1,000%. It's cool now to see that you're seeing more women in different positions, like where they normally wouldn't have been before, like even just 10 years ago. But it's definitely intimidating to be one woman in a sea of men, or like to be the first, or to even try to get to be the first. Like, that's a whole climb.
No, not at all. You know, there's so much opportunity for people that have more means than people that don't have means, but it's very difficult with this level playing field too, because everybody's got different, or they're just born with different gifts and different things too. So just your genetics make things unlevel as well. But then to compound that with the economic and social inequalities, those things can be remedied, and they should be remedied, so that people have more opportunities, more exposure to things, and aren't, just left behind.
I think there are some people for whom the American dream is true and is attainable and does work for them. You know, I don't think it's everybody. I mean, I think we read, but there are people that realize that it's the American dream is just that. It's a dream. You read Great Gatsby and you're like, that. I mean, Fitzgerald was was a cis white male and knew that it was a lie. So I mean, in way back when in the 1920s, so how is it that that we don't get that? I don't know. But there are people for whom it does work.
I mean, I like the idea of a dream, or I like ideals. Mm-hmm. Like, as a philosopher, I like kind of identifying things to strive for. And if you think of, I think originally, like 100 years ago or so, when the American dream was discussed, it was in terms of ideals of, I don't know, justice and equality and things like that. It's sort of what we, you know, in America are trying to, um, we're trying to guarantee everybody the chance at a good life, that kind of thing. So insofar as it's an ideal, I kind of like it. And like King, Martin Luther King in his I Have a Dream speech, I think he referred to the American dream. He said something like, you know, he said, I have a dream. And I think at one point he said something like, it's deeply rooted in the American dream, right? So he's definitely talking about ideals there. Mm-hmm. He's not just talking about, you know, material success. He's talking about justice and equality. And so in that sense, I think it's great. If we're identifying ideals that we should be and are aspiring to, and they're good ideals, I like that. Yeah. Okay. I'm afraid, though, that it's kind of, in many people's minds, it's more connected with sort of economic upward mobility stuff than the justice and equality stuff.
I would say the American dream is the pinnacle of success. It's, you know, what people strive to attain, and when they come to the United States, whether they're born here or they immigrated, it's this idea of like just a complete, like a full life. Like you've reached ultimate happiness. You've reached like your version of, you know, ultimate success, you know, so, yeah.
I think American dream is supposed to mean freedom, free autonomy to do whatever you want to do, but there's obviously setbacks and things that people don't realize until they get older.
American dream means living life to the fullest and following what you love to do.
The idea to have the freedom to choose the things that you want to do in your life. Yeah.
To me personally, it means just like being successful in like your own terms, because I feel like people, you know, they'll either say like their success is like being rich or becoming famous or, you know, having a good family, like, but I feel like it's all different for different people.
The American dream, I think, is like you can basically do anything you put your mind to as long as you work hard enough. I think for the most part you can, although it depends a lot on like society, honestly, and like the opportunities you're given. I mean, I'm in sociology right now, and we're learning how like that doesn't apply to everybody because of a lot of inequalities.
Of picture perfect kind of concept that existed maybe in the older generations, but I feel like now it is not as applicable, especially in our current generation and age. I feel like it's more of an idealistic kind of concept, and I feel like it's also kind of driven by like corporations and people in power, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like it was definitely originally more propaganda, but I feel like now it's a state of mind. It's really what you make of it. And I think the concept of the American dream, what it should be at least, and what I hope it is for everyone, for older and younger generations, is to just make your life what you want it to be. And I know that's hard, it's easier said than done, but I think once you have that motivation going, I think nothing can stop you.
I guess I always wonder if they regret doing what they thought they had to do instead of doing what they wanted to do.
Are they proud of the way that things are changing?
Maybe just like advice about like where they made mistakes on like their journeys in life and what I could take from that. I guess that would be my question.
What kind of track do they see like our current generation going on? Like what kind of course are we on? Do they feel like we're like kind of moving more towards like failure as like humanity, or like and like technology is kind of going to be the end of us, or what do they see? Because I feel like technology has definitely progressed like in the past like century or so, and I don't know. I'd want to know what their input is on I guess like technology.
Do you think it's easier or harder for our generation now to achieve the American dream ideal?
I guess the advice that I often give students, I feel like students often go to college or go through college with the idea that, you know, this is preparation for my career, and my career is about making money, and so they're kind of very economically driven, and maybe they are thinking in terms of the American dream in economic terms. And I guess my advice for students is always, you know, it's going to be more fulfilling to you and better for society in general if you focus less on the economic side of it than on the kind of what are your talents and what are you, you know, what are you most fulfilled doing, rather than how can you make the most money.